with you. How did you try to maybe be one of the connectors, being an older guy and being an experienced guy here, try to bring some of the new guys together this offseason right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm trying to learn all the spots. I'm not trying to just learn my position. Just try to be able to over-communicate out there. And if I know someone else's job and, like, maybe they might be a little confused on a play or something like that when we get out, like, I can help them out. Just put everyone else's minds at ease out there if I can. I've been trying to overemphasize myself in doing that every practice.
I know he's on the other side of the ball, but you're going against him all the time. What stood out to you about how Dylan Jones has played this spring?
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good, and I think all of our running backs, it's not like we don't have just like a speed back or we don't have just like a power back. Like, they all are kind of that hybrid where they can kind of bring both, where they have that top end speed to have an 80-yard run, but then they can also run someone over. Like, you never really know what you're going to get out of it, which that makes it very hard as a defender or someone trying to tackle. Yep.
How you doing, Preston?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. It kind of seems like everyone on the defense has gained weight to some extent. Did you join the party? Are you up from last year?
Yeah, I did a little bit, probably like five pounds. But yeah.
Okay. Now, like, and you know, like with the departure of a guy like Hunter Wooler, who's such a big part of the room for years. Like, what has that allowed you to do in terms of playing? Like, what position are you playing? What's your ideal position for this new year? Like, have you been able to grow into that more, like being more of a veteran?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the big part of it was the leadership role, and which I hadn't really been in that before. That was Hunter last year, and I think the big thing is just like trying to build relationships with the whole room, and I think we have a really close group in our room this year, and I think that's going to be really helpful for us moving forward.
What were your, what did you emphasize in the offseason in terms of personal improvement?
I think finding ways to just continue to make more plays. I think that's been a big emphasis for our defense is we got to create more turnovers. And so I'm just trying to find more and more ways that I can get more turnovers. If defense has a lot of turnovers, they're going to be a good defense. It's just direct correlation.
How do you go about doing that? Is it like passing drills or how do you get better at that?
I think a lot of it's like film study stuff and IDing ways on like how I can make a play in this defensive call and based on how the call is designed. And once you can kind of worry about how I can make a play in this call instead of just doing your job in the call, I think that's where you can start making plays like that.
Now, like Coach Cooper, he's been in the program for a few years, but now he's elevated to a position coach. What changes have you seen from him, in assuming a greater position?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Coop is great, and I think he's done a really good job of like we have a standard in our room of just the whole effort and doing your job, but then doing more, like over communicating, little things like that. And he's done a great job of like addressing that with not just the older guys, but then also the younger guys, and making sure that like he's not giving them a pass just because they're a younger guy. Like they have to hold their own weight too, and I think that's been really good for our room, and it's kind of helped our room grow closer together, and I think that's going to be very good for us.
I'm curious about your impression of the two Matts early on. Like coming from like a lower level of football, did they come in like confident, eager, quiet and ready to listen? Like what was your first impression of those guys?
Yeah, I think they were both kind of quiet but eager to learn and eager to get started playing. I think they've both done a really good job at that. Where I think they've adjusted very well because you never really know when they're coming from different levels, like how quickly they'll adjust to things, and it was like pretty instant. And I think they're both going to be pretty big parts of our team this year.
Been able to play extended snaps now with Austin in the defensive secondary, kind of locked in position where he's kind of being floated around. What has it been like being with him, and like how do you guys complement each other as a duo?
Yeah, I think it helps that we've had experience playing before together, out in the same field together in games, and I think just having that experience helps with our communication. Like we're always on the same page, and when we're communicating out there, I think it just helps the whole defense play better when we're solid in the back end.
How would you describe, if you had to summarize how this year's offense is different from the last 2 years, what would you say?
I think this offense is very complex, and it's very hard for defense to fit it up perfectly, or it's like they're trying to find ways to get guys to miss an assignment or totally lose a guy in man coverage or something like that just because of all the shifts and motions and stuff like that. And I think it's very good, and it's going to be very effective.